Okay, let's begin our class. Sit up straight on the mat. Close your eyes. Keep your hands on your knees and keep your spine nice and tall. We will begin our class with 3 Om together. Begin next inhalation. Take a long deep breath in. Join your hands together in front of your heart center. Bend your head forward. And then open your eyes while blinking. Namaste to everyone. Okay, so let's begin today's class with some salutation. Everyone, please stand up straight on your mat. Come up on the top of your mat. Take a 1 foot gap and stand erect with feet together. Otherwise, you can maintain a little gap between your both feet. Now, as you inhale, take your hands up over the head, all the way high. Reach your arms up. Exhale, bend forward from the hip joint. Inhale, halfway look up, look in front, spine straight. You can bend your knees. Exhale, press your hands and send your both legs back for the plank. Now, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hold there for a while. 1. Inhale and exhale right there. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Press your palms, bend your knees, jump front for the halfway look up. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, completely bend forward for Uttanasana. Hands on the floor, bend your knees, right, touching your abdomen and your thigh. Inhale, take your hands over the head, all the way stand up straight. Exhale, release your hands beside of your hips into Samasthiti. Again, take your hands up over the head. Inhale. Exhale, bend forward from the hip joint. Inhale, halfway look up, look in front. Exhale, press your palms, jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, hold there. Try to use that Ujjayi breathing through your nostril. 1. Try to make that victorious breath. 2. Do you know what the Ujjayi breathing? So you have to just lock your chin in towards your chest, and then you have to inhale and then exhale, just like this. All right. So inhale and exhale through your nostril. Inhale again, and then exhale. Okay. Now one more breath. Inhale, and then exhale there. Now press your palms, bend your knees, jump front with a half a look up. Exhale, completely bend forward. Inhale, take your hands up over the head. Exhale, release your hands beside of your hips. One more time. Inhale, take your arms up over the head. Exhale, bend forward from the hip joint. Inhale, half a look up, look in front. Exhale, press your palms, bend your knees, jump back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back on the toes for the downward facing dog. Yes, downward facing dog. And then hold. 1. Again, bring that awareness on your breath. 2, 3. Just observe your abdomen movement, belly movement. 4. And last 5. Now press your palms, bend your knees, jump front for the half a look up. Very nice. Exhale, completely bend forward. Inhale, again take your hands up over the head. Exhale, release your hands down beside of your hips for Samasthiti. One more time. Take a deep breath in, sweep your hands high over the head. Exhale, bend forward from your hip joint. Inhale, half to look up. Use your low back strength. Exhale, press your palms, bend your knees, jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 5, 4, keep breathing in and out. 3, 2, and 1. Now press your palms, bend your knees, jump front for the half full look up. Exhale, completely bend forward. Inhale, all the way come up. Exhale, again release your hands beside of your hips into Samasthiti. Now sun salutation B. Bend your knees, take your arms up for the wall, for the chair pose. Utkat Asana. Exhale, bend forward from the hip joint. Inhale, half a look up, Uttanasana. Exhale, completely bend forward from the hip joint for Uttanasana. Now in jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And hold there. Now with the next inhalation, step your right leg forward, take your hands up over the head for the warrior A. Virabhadrasana. Very nice. Drop your back heel on the floor. Exhale, hands on the floor and step back for the plank. Then Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back for the downward facing dog. Step your left leg forward between your hands for the warrior A. Exhale, hands on the floor. Step back for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, hold there for 5 ujjayi breathing. 1, 2, 3. Make a sound of that breath, that victorious breath. 4 and 5. Now prepare your mind to jump front, bend your knees, and jump forward. Half to look up, look in front. Exhale, completely bend down. Inhale, bend your knees, take your hands up for the chair pose. Just be engaged with your buttocks. Exhale, release your hands down for Samasthiti. Very nice. Now again, bend your knees, take your hands up for the chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, bend forward from the hip joint into forward bend, Uttanasana. Inhale, half to look up, Ardha Uttanasana, look in front. Exhale, press your palms, jump back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right leg forward for the warrior A. Arms up. Warrior A, high hands up over the head. Very nice. Exhale, both hands on the floor, either side of the right leg. Step back to the plank. Again, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So do each and every posture properly. Step your left leg forward, warrior A. Arms up over the head. Very nice. Exhale, hands on the floor. Step back to the plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Very nice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good job. And then hold there again for the 5 ujjayi breathing. 5. Inhale and the long exhale out. 4. Try to make that ocean breath. 3. Good job. 2. And 1. Press your palms, then release, jump forward, half to look up. Exhale again, completely bend forward. Inhale, bend your knees, take your hands high for the chair pose. Exhale, release back into Samasthiti or equal standing. Very nice. Bend your knees, take your hands up for the chair pose again. Again, take your hands up. Exhale, bend forward. Hands on the floor. Inhale, half to look up. Exhale, step back for the plank or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, Ujjayi Swanasana. Exhale, downward facing dog for Ardha Swanasana. Step your right leg forward with the next inhalation, arms up over the head, warrior A. Lift the square. Exhale, bend your head, place your hands on the floor, step back for the plank. Now Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left leg forward, arms up over the head, warrior A. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back for the Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, and then roll back to the downward facing dog. And then hold there for 5 more breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press your palms, bend your knees, jump front for the half look or the Uttanasana. Exhale, completely bend forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, bend your knees, arms up for the chair pose. Exhale, release your hands into Samasthiti. Now, second last round, bend your knees, arms up for the chair pose. Exhale, bend forward from the hip joint, hands on the floor. Inhale, half the look up. Exhale, press your palms, bend your knees, jump back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now step your right leg forward, arms up over the head. Inhale there. Try to keep your hips square. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back to the plank. Then Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left leg forward, arms up over the head. Hips square. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back to the plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back for the downward facing dog. Good job. Hold the air for 5 more breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press your palms, bend your knees, jump front for the half look up. Very nice. Exhale, completely bend forward from the hip joint. Inhale, bend your knees, arms up over the head for the chair pose. Exhale, release back into Samasthiti. Again, bend your knees, arms up for the chair pose. Last round. Okay. Last round, come on. Exhale, hands down, bend forward. Inhale, half the look up. Exhale, press your palms, jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right leg forward for the warrior aim. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back for the Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now step your left leg forward. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back to the plank. And now Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, hold there for 5 breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now bend your knees, jump front for the half belly cut. Exhale, completely bend forward. Inhale, bend your knees. Take your hands up for the chair pose. Exhale, release back into Samasthana. Now shake your legs, shake your body. Let's move your hands. Now let's talk about the warrior A. So today's posture is warrior A. So it means 6 or 7 times that you have done warrior A so far in some salutation. Okay. So do you have any idea that how do we perform warrior A or any the basic alignment of the warrior A? Nobody knows?
You move your legs forward and the back leg is at like 45-degree open. Like try to have your hip rotate inwards and your forward foot is at knees
Yes,
above the ankle and it's like a
mhm,
perpendicular. So
exactly.
that's
So this is the basic alignment. Like your front leg should be bent into 90 degrees, back leg will turn in into 45 degrees, and that leg will like, that will rotate inward, and front leg will be should be into the neutral position. Okay. So the main purpose is to keep your hip square to the front of your mat, and try to rotate your back leg inward. And another purpose of this posture is to have that extension on your back hip flexor. Okay. So when you're performing that warrior A, at the time you may have felt that stretch on your back hip flexor. So this is your hip flexor that you may have felt this stretch right here. Okay. So then we have one another posture that is called high lunge. Do you know high lunge? In that we just lift our heel, but it looks as same as like warrior A. Okay. So in warrior A, we drop our heel down, but with high lunge, we are just lifting our heel off the floor. So do you feel any difference between both of them? By the way, do you know that high lunge? How do you perform that?
uh,
Do you,
your voice is echoing. I think Karen, you need to mute your audio.
okay. So okay. So when you're performing that warrior A and high lunge, do you feel the difference between both of them? So whoever would just want to say, just unmute yourself and then say, if you know any idea like what are the difference between both of them, then let's go further.
As you said, in high lunge,
Yes, we lift our back heel off the floor, but
yes,
in warrior A, we don't lift our heel. So just look at me here for instance, this is a warrior A where your back leg should be just like this. Okay, your back heel should be on the floor, but when you're coming into high lunge, it will be lifted and your hips will all the way square to the front of your mat. Okay, so this is just a difference between both of them, the high lunge and warrior A. So in which posture do you feel more extension on your back leg? Of course, in the high lunge.
high lunge, high
In
lunge.
the high lunge because our back heel is up off the floor, or in warrior A, our back heel is directly is like all the way planted on the floor. Okay. See, when you're doing warrior A, at the time we are rotating our back leg inward, and we always say that our hips should be square to the front of the mat. right? Do you really think when you are rotating, when you're dropping your back heel down and you're just pushing your hip forward, will it be square, like perfectly square to the front of the mat? Like when you're dropping your back heel down, at the time, do you really think that your hips will be completely square to the front of your mat? So it won't be square until unless you have enough mobility on your hip joint. Okay, so in the beginning, even after if you're in intermediate, so you cannot keep your hips square when you are in the warrior A. Okay, so the basic alignment of the posture is to keep your front heel and back heel is in line, like both of them should be in one line. And if you're rotating your back leg inward, your hip do not move all the way in, right? With this pelvic girdle, do not move all the way in. Just look at me once here. So when you are dropping your back heel down, pressing the back heel down, and then try to rotate your hips in. So my hip, this hip cannot go further than you. If I'm pushing too much forward, so I'm going to get that, I'm going to hurt my knee, right? If I cannot go further than you because it has got this limitation, right? It cannot go further than you because it has got this range of motion till here. If you want to increase the range of motion, or if you want to keep our hips square, just lift your back heel off the floor and get your hips all the way square, right? So if you want to get your hips just like this in the warrior air, so keep your hips just like this and drop your back heel down. Try to drop. It will be quite harder because your hip will start to move backward. Okay. So make sure when you're rotating your hips forward, when you're in the warrior A, it's not necessary to keep your hips all the way in. Everyone, please come up on a mat, then you will understand. Yes. So drop your back heel on the floor. Yes, back heel on the floor. Keep your heel, your heel. So your heel, not knee. This is your knee, heel, yes. Drop your heel and look in front. Just check out your hips, how they are. Are they square to the front of the mat or not? They are almost square, not completely square. But when you're lifting your heel off the floor for the high lunge, lift your heel, come up on the high lunge. Now your hips are completely square to the front of your mat, right? So this is a tendency of our body when you are dropping your back heel on the floor, or your body does not allow you to rotate your hips all the way in. Okay, because it has got that limitation, it cannot go further than this. All right. So if you have enough mobility, then you can rotate your hips inward. If you do not have, then what you will do? You can make a room like you can, let's suppose your heel are in line just like this. Just take your back leg slide outward, like create the gap in between your both legs, make a room, and then it will be easy to keep your hips square. Just try to create. Let's suppose my heel are in line, right? Now what I'll do? Take my back leg outward and then push my hip forward. Now it is going to be better than before one. Okay, this is for those who is beginner in the warrior A or into yoga. They cannot rotate their back hip inward. So this is for those this adjustment, this transition that you can perform with them. So do you feel the difference? Like in this, when you are making room between your both legs, it's going to be more easier to keep your hips square, right? Now one more thing in the warrior A, as I told you about our lower body mobility and stability. Your mobility should be here on your hip. Your stability should be here on your knee. And what about your ankle? It should have be mobile. Okay. So when you rotate your back leg all the way inward, right? So when you try to push your hip forward, like from here, when you try to push your hip forward, it can rotate inward. So it does not have any problem. It can always rotate inward, but your knee does not allow you to go more further in, right? So when you're in the highlands, you have mobility here, you have mobility on your ankle, it can easily rotate inward. but your knees are rotating. It's like rotating from here and your lower leg too. Okay, so try to understand that how you are rotating from your up, like from your hip joint. Hip is moving forward, but your knees are not allowing you to move forward. So if you try, like if you keep pushing yourself forward, 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 and then you hurt your knee because it does not have that mobility. It can only extend, it can only flex, right? So if you're trying to rotate your hips forward, 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 your lower leg is rotating outward, your upper leg is rotating inward, then it will twist, and we don't need to have the twisting on our knee. All right. So that's why this is a like major problem whenever we are performing warrior A, we try to like push ourselves too much to keep our hips square, right? So that we don't need to do in the warrior A. Understood? We just need to bring that awareness on our hip so that they'll be almost square, but not completely square. If they're completely square, it means they have they may be advanced and they have enough mobility on their hip joint, like so that they can rotate from the hip joint all the way in without rotating their knee joint. All right. So we don't need to rotate our knee joint, always rotate from the hip joint. Right. So as far as it can take you further, that is fine. But if your knee is rotating, that's a problem, and we don't need to do that. So
Uh,
what else? Yes.
I I feel more comfortable in high lunge position because when my weight is on back leg, when my back leg is on the toes, that time I
Yeah.
feel complete extension and I can make my hip square. But my when my complete is on the floor, and if I try to make my hip square, that time I feel
Mhm.
twist at the knee portion.
Yes. Yes. See, so each and every portion has different purpose, right? Different benefits, different benefits it has got. So when you're trying to go for warrior A, at that time, where do you work? Like you're working on that restriction. Like your ankle is not allowing you to move further, but it is going to rotate inward, right? In the warrior A, you're having that stretch all the way around on your inner thighs too. Not only on here, but your inner thighs too. But in Highlands, you're just having that stretch just right here, right? In warrior A, you're having a lot of support from your back leg because you're all the way like your back foot is all the way planted on the floor. But in the Highlands, you're just lifting on your toes, and it's not that much stable as compared to warrior A. So one more time, yes.
So when
And
we are comfortable, we can maintain high lunge position during warrior
yeah,
A.
yeah, yes, you can perform Highland position. So this usually happens in the beginning, but later on when you practice, at the time you will now like warrior A more than Highland. Okay, so one more time let's perform warrior A so that you will bring that more consciousness in your breath, in your posture, and keep switching your legs, huh? Otherwise, you will have only one stretch on one leg. Yes. Try performing both of them, like high lunge and warrior A.
Rahul, if someone's
Yes.
got like knee issues, what sort of modification would you recommend in this?
Yes. If somebody has knee issue, like as I told you, if you're doing too much twisting in warrior A, then there's a problem. If they have like problem in their like it's like ACL, MCL, right? So if it is there in your middle part, then there's a problem. Like you don't need to twist. Or if it's in like into this like inner side, so that what do we call this? Lateral and medial and uh, like ACL, MCL, or PCL, something like I don't remember. But like if it's a problem inside, then if you're twisting right there, then there's a problem. Otherwise, keep your legs just like this in the warrior A, and
Yeah.
but make sure you are not twisting your hip. You're not twisting from the knee. The hip should be square. You can make a room between your both legs. As I told you, like no need to keep your front heel and back heel in line. You can just take your back leg
Just
more
move it
out
out.
and open your hip out. So here we don't
Okay.
have that twisting, which were coming earlier, right here. So here we don't have twisting. You can take the maximum benefit of the warrior A. Like this one here. Okay.
Excellent.
Or
Thank you.
still, yes, still if they're having a pain on the warrior A, just please do not let them do the warrior A, because in this warrior A we little bit like sort of twisting in our knee. So no need to do this warrior A. Otherwise go for the high lunge. Okay, so high lunge but not low lunge. In low lunge you are also going to shift your body weight on your knee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes. So what did you observe in warrior A and high lunge? Did you observe anything else? Nothing else? See, when you are doing warrior A, just look at me because you can see me from the front side. So how does my hips look? Are they square or not? They are square, right? To the front side. But if you look at me from there to the sideways, just like here, so you won't see my hips is square. It will be like open because my front hip is here, back hip is here. Like there's a this much gap in between my left hip and right hip, right? But if you're looking at me from the front side, so this will be square. All right. So always remember whenever your students or anybody is performing that warrior A, you have to measure or like see the posture from the front side, not from the sideways. All right. In Highlands, you can see from sideways, you can see from the front side or back side. Everything is fine, but the warrior A, it should be always looked from the front side. All right. Anything else?
So in warrior pose, I don't understand like how far your back leg should be. That is still not.
Yeah, it's like many people they say like it's 3 or 4 feet apart, right? Otherwise, the more you practice, the better understanding you will have like how much distance should be like between your both legs. So it's not necessary to keep your legs always 3 feet apart, 4 feet apart, or 4.5, right? So just take a one leg gap, like a in the triangle pose, right? So when you're in the downward facing dog, you will understand everything. You're stepping your right leg forward, taking a hands up. So that is warrior A. So when you're going for the triangle pose, let's suppose here, from the downward facing dog, stepping your right leg forward, drop a back heel down. If you don't feel comfortable here, just get out of that posture. You can decrease the stance. If you feel comfortable, like here, I don't feel comfortable because my front leg can go more further, right? So I have to take my back leg more out. Take your hands up. Now I feel comfortable here. Okay. So let's suppose I'm doing triangle pose. So I don't feel comfortable here. I need to bring my back leg a bit forward and then rotate my hips or rotate my hands outward. So it's all about comfortable. How are you comfortable in the posture?
Okay.
Otherwise, the distance would be like this is called like 3 or 4 feet apart accordingly.
So
So this is what, yes.
what I'm observing is like in trying to maintain that perpendicular between your leg and your thighs, I have to move my back foot a little more back so that like there is a space where I can like make it perpendicular. So is it?
Yes. So we did not talk about the front leg. See, in the Aswa Sanchalana, what did we discuss? We discussed about the compression of our femur bone and a pelvic girdle, right? So if you are pushing your hip too much down into the 90 degree, or you're just trying to make a one straight 90-degree perpendicular, then you will have that compression in between your leg and your hip joint, right? But let's suppose, did we talk about Chaturanga Dandasana also? No? Okay. So what happens when you want to build the strength in your thighs or anywhere, like in your arms? So you have to always go against the gravity, right? Go against the gravity, then you can bring the strength or build the strength in your arms or anywhere wherever you're working on. So let's suppose you're working on your thighs right here. Just understand the purpose. Then we'll talk about that why do we bend 90 degree or why we don't bend. So let's suppose you are here into the 90 degree of this posture, right? If you're bending too much and pressing your back heel down, so this is completely 90 degree of the floor. Okay, I'm taking my hands up. So what do you feel? Do you feel comfortable here into this position? I'm just getting all the way down. I'm just hanging onto my hip joint, right? I do not have any strength. I'm not pulling myself up. I'm just having the support of my hip joint. I'm just holding into the posture. What I need to do is here, I need to just pull up high, reach up, and take my hands up. Now it's like more than 90 degree. It's not 90 degree. All right. As same as like chair pose. If you're taking your hands up over the head and bending your leg, so here you're working on the strengthening of your thighs. But if you do not, if you do not like try to straighten your knees, you will fall away, you will fall over all the way down, right? So what is happening here? You're trying to restrict this axle. Like the gravity is pulling you down, you're restricting this axle by like engaging your thighs. The same thing here. If you do not let your thighs engage, do not let yourself go up against the gravity, then you will just hang into the joint. You won't build any strength in your body. Understood? So what you have to do, pull your thigh up. Do not keep it into 90 degree. If you're keeping it into 90 degree, you're just hanging into the joint and you're taking your hands up. And you will have the compression right here on your hip joint. So one more time, everybody please perform, then you can understand. Just bend your leg all the way down, bend, push your hip down and take your hands up. Are you feeling comfortable here? No? So what is happening actually here? You're just hanging into the joint, you do not have control in your body and all the way you are just letting yourself go or depending on your hip joint, right? So that we don't need to be in any particular posture, whether you're doing warrior A, chair pose or warrior C, anything. We don't need to hang into the joints. We need to build the strength of that particular muscles. Okay. So what do we have to do here? So no need to bend your legs into 90 degree. It is said into 90 degree. You can bend if you have enough mobility. Like the alignment that is for everyone. Like whether you're beginner, whether you're advanced or intermediate. Okay. So mainly whatever alignment that we read in the book, right? So that is for the that perfect alignment of the posture, right? So if you have got enough mobility for that, then you can perform that posture. Like many people, they can perform this. They can hold into 90 degree, but many people they cannot hold into 90 degree, right? So just go accordingly wherever you feel comfortable. Go just like that. Okay. So you can increase the angle of your lower leg and upper leg, and then reach up. And one more thing I told you that this is the finger. You need to always, if you're having the compression in your femur bone and your pelvic girdle, just create the space right here. Then you'll be more engaged to your abdomen. Just let's suppose you're sitting just like this. You'll be just again like still you must be compressing your hip joint and your hip joint and your femur bone. Just make a duck finger, just open up, and you'll be more active and you'll be more aware. So this is something that we need to have in order to bring that awareness. Okay. So one more time, let's perform this warrior A. Last time. Keep your legs bent. Yes. And then take your hands up over the head. So just be comfortable into the posture. Very nice. And if your hip is tilting forward, now what you need to do is rotate your hips inward, like posterior pelvic tilt. Yes, just pull your abdomen in, pull your lower belly in. Yes, Mia, just pull your lower belly in, create the space right there. Like make a duck finger and then open up out. Yes, open up right here and then open out, and you'll be more aware to your abdomen. Yes, Shivani, just take your back leg more back, a bit more back. Yes, and now bend your leg. And then the front leg, only the front leg, and then take your hands up. Now it is fine. Okay, so this is the position in which you must be feeling comfortable. And exhale, hands on the floor, jump back, walk back into plank and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So the same posture we will perform from the other side. Switch your legs, left leg forward or right leg forward, whichever leg you prefer. Now take your hands up, drop your back heel down, take your arms up over the head. Very nice. So back leg should be straight. It should not be bent. Turn your back leg near, turn your back leg slight more in. Yes, turn your back foot in, back foot in, back foot in. Just foot in, foot, foot, foot. Yes. And then take your hands up. Bend your front leg at the knee. Very nice, Karen. See, one more mistake that we usually do in this posture, we are not aware of our hips, right? The hip is moving forward, like this is called anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt. As I told you in like other day, do not rotate your hips inward whenever you are going for the upward movement. Okay, so whenever you're going for the upward movement, wherever your hands are up over the head, do not go for the anterior pelvic tilt. So this is your anterior pelvic tilt, this is your posterior pelvic tilt. Just be engaged like here, like this. So your hips is in this way, this position. You sustain this position of your hips, take your front leg forward, and then back leg back. So this should be the position of your hip. Do not let your hip moving forward. So this is the position of your, which is being wrong, but you have to squeeze your hips in. So this is wrong, this is right. Okay. Bend your front leg at the knee into 90 degrees of the floor. And try to bring that engagement in your hips. Do not let your abdomen touch on your thigh or lower belly touch on your thigh. Yes, do not let the, just bring that awareness on your front leg. Yes, right here on your front leg. Just create the space here and then pull your lower belly in. Now take your hands up over the head. So either you can join your hands together or keep them apart accordingly, wherever you feel comfortable. And then exhale, release back, hands on the floor, step back for the plank. Then Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog. Very nice. So what did you understand? How are we going to perform warrior A? So any point that you want to highlight?
We should avoid twisting our knee.
Yes.
While
Always avoid twisting your hip. Yes. What else?
avoid friction of your hip to the femur.
Yes, yes. Hip joint or your femur joint. Yes, avoid the friction of your femur and the pelvic girdle. What else? So no need to completely push your back hip forward. Just let your hips almost be square. Do not completely, do not stand your hip forward to make it completely square. All right. And what else? Nothing else?
I think when we maintain high lunge position, uh,
Yeah.
in that position we can maintain maximum square position of the hip.
We can what? We can.
So in high lunge position, we can make the
Mhm.
hip square to the maximum.
Yes, yeah, yes. In highland position, our hips automatically get square. But in warrior A, because our back leg, your feet, just look at your back feet position. The back feet is in 90 degree, 45 degree. So that's why it does not allow us to rotate all the way in. If our ankle was all the way in, then your hip can be square because the see one that hurdle has come from the knee. So that is not allowing us to rotate inward because our mobility does not have like our mobility does not have in our ankle right there in the warrior A. Knee does not have mobility. Our hip has mobility, but we cannot directly rotate from the hip joint. Then we'll have also that effect on our knee and your ankle. That's why like that we don't keep our hips square. But in Highland, our heel is all the way lifted, toes are pointing forward. Then you can keep your hips square. Okay. So one more basic, very like easy and understanding. So wherever your toes are facing, there should be your knee facing, like your knee should face the same direction. Let's suppose you're doing chair pose. How long you extend it like that? Uh, Sorry, I did not put that lesson. Just let me finish this one more topic. So wherever your knees is facing, so the same direction your toes should face. Let's suppose you're doing chair pose, where your knees are facing, where my toes are facing, right? So they are going to point to the same direction. Let's suppose I'm doing warrior B. Where is my knee facing? To the same direction where my toes are facing. Let's suppose, just look at my back leg also. When I'm performing this warrior A, where is my knee facing? To the same direction where my toes are facing, right? So if my knee is facing inward, my toes are facing forward, then I'll have the twisting on my knee and I'll definitely get hurt. The same thing happens in your Padmasana or simply cross leg. So if my knee is facing this side, the toes should also face this side. If my toes are facing this side, if my knee is facing that side, then I'll definitely have that pain. And this is not, this is against our alignment of our body. Okay? So just let your knee and your toes face to the same direction so that you won't have any injury on your knee joint. Okay, so what was the message? I did not understand the question. Who asked this?
Um, I guess is Warrior 2 or Warrior B the only one where your back leg
Mhm.
externally rotates to open up the hips?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
so in the
because most of
warrior
the
A,
time,
yes,
yeah, most of the time the following leg internally rotates. Warrior C,
yes,
extended side angle, triangle.
yes.
The triangle is really the only one that externally rotates.
It's high half moon. Half moon also we rotate our hips outward. Yes, half moon. Okay. So what she was saying, like your whenever your back leg is like whenever you're sending a one leg back behind at the time, that mainly it rotates inward, but it does not rotate outward. But like in warrior B, except warrior B, triangle pose or side angle pose, or so wherever your hips are opening, at the time your back leg is going to rotate outward. But your hips are getting close, that time your hips will, like your back leg will rotate inward. So this is a simple and basic concept that we can understand by this. So anything else that you want to ask? Nothing? That's good. Okay, so let's finish our class. So who would like to finish our class? Mia, would you like to try? Okay, so let's finish. Please do this for us. Unmute yourself first.
Sorry, I'm just finishing the class.
Yes.
All right, so we'll sit in a comfortable position, close our eyes, and we'll chant Om followed by 3 Shantis. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now slowly open your eyes and namaste.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Mia.
It's okay.
Bye-bye.
I hope you did all right.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Great, thank you. That was really good.
Okay, bye-bye. You're welcome.